From the News Talk STL studios in St. Louis, it's the Right Mind Show with Todd Showalter. Tonight, we're fighting DEI with Blaine Little. No more beardos in the military with Army spy Pete Turner. And the Right Mind studio band, Mitch Murphy and the Murphy Tones. Now, putting the fun in your dysfunctional world, here's your host, Todd Showalter.
You know, starting out on a very happy note, our healthcare system is totally screwed.
Well, how much do you pay for your health care?
Screwed.
Are you one of those Canadians where it's free?
Hey, no, I'm talking about everything. You know what I'm talking about? No, here's that. No, well, that's one thing, okay? Because you have what? The insurance that just is sky high. I mean, just unbelievable how much we pay for insurance. I don't know what you pay, but it costs me. It's cutting into my pretzel budget, okay? And now, if you ever have to use your health insurance as if going to a hospital or going to a doctor or something like that, I came in here today. Actually, I thought about this yesterday. I don't want to keep talking about all my ailments, but I think I'm falling apart, buddy. I had to go to the hospital.
It cost you an arm and a leg and an eye and a retina.
That was earlier, okay? Then I had yesterday, get this, okay? And again, I'm trying not to make this all about me, even though I am. I had to go to the hospital, okay? Because I had this little blood pressure issue that I typically don't have. So anyway,
how'd you find out you had it? Did you have a little oximeter on your big toe?
I thought I was giving myself a prostate exam. No. That was a different day. No, let's just say I
felt it?
No, I got a reading. It was like over 200 or something. Apparently, that's not good.
You were giving yourself a reading?
Yeah, but not like a reading, not like an astrology reading, not like, oh, it sounds like you should stay away from ladders today. Not that kind of thing. It was like a blood pressure reading.
So your eyeball thing led to a blood pressure cuff.
But they could have been related. They may not have been related.
Okay.
But anyway.
Usually I get stuck in that thing at Walgreens where I stick my arm in.
No, I only do that. I don't use my arm for that thing. That's a whole other story, though. Okay.
I'll stop interrupting.
Yeah, no. It's okay. But I ended up having to go to the emergency room. Now, here's the thing. Emergency room, what is the first word of emergency room?
It's like sit and wait, right?
Well,
if this is an emergency, please just sit and wait and don't make a fuss.
And that's what I'm thinking. Okay, they say don't come into the doctor's office. Don't just wait till it goes away. Go to the emergency room. So I'm thinking, well, I guess this is an emergency. I will go to the emergency room to take care of my emergency. Not knowing that when you go to the emergency room, an emergency to them is like 5, 6, 7, 8, maybe 12 hours. Okay, and by this time, I'm hoping, well, maybe this whole issue will have gone away by now, but it hasn't. So you spend all day into the evening at the emergency room, and they finally give you a little pill, which they could have done as soon as I walked in the door, and everything's fine now, and here I am back. So that's my story. But the whole healthcare system is screwed. It's totally screwed because now I want another doctor because she never put me on this pill to begin with. And so I start looking for other doctors. This story gets a little bit better, don't worry. And so I start looking for other doctors. I find one, and he's like, we can see you, Todd, next February 2026. I'm like, well, I could be deed by then. What has happened to our healthcare system? It's a joke.
It should be set up like the theme park system, except there's no fun at the end. But there's got to be the single rider line, like if you're not attached to anyone.
Single rider.
So it's a little bit quicker. And then there's got to be the fast pass.
Yeah,
so that you can get in a little bit quicker, and you're giving the finger to every plebeian that's in the regular line as you go in.
I guess so. Yeah, I even got a hold of our buddy, Randy Tobler.
Dr. Randy Tobler.
I did. I reached out to him because I figure he's the only sane doctor that I know. And he said, well, don't worry. We could do this whole thing with you through telehelp or something. I think that's like I don't know what telehelp.
It's a 900 number, yeah.
I think so.
He talks slower and sultrier, and it lowers your blood pressure.
I think I called and I got the wrong number because of what do you want to talk about, Todd? And this isn't for my blood pressure. It's just been a strange couple of days, and I'm done with it. Actually, it's been a strange few weeks between the eyeball and now this. But hey, I am here now, and if I do drop dead, just remember, don't go to the doctor because you're going to end up waiting until you die anyway.
I appreciate your caginess with this erection lasting longer than 4 hours, and that's how you found about the blood pressure thing. So
I know.
My girl meant to say, don't bring that up. he doesn't want to talk about the erection issues. I'm like, well, it's a comedy show. We can bring it up a little bit.
Well, you know what they told me?
We can get it up a little bit.
They said, don't, with an erection that lasts more than 4 hours, just watch The View, and it'll go right away, and I'll be darned if it doesn't.
Go wait in the emergency room next to the meth addicts who's screaming about, I'm strapped to this bed. How'd you get strapped to the bed, guy?
Other thing. Oh, I didn't go down that little road, did I? I was thinking to myself, these shows that we watch, like ER, The Pit, all that kind of stuff, it's so over-dramatized. People screaming and breaking things and crying and everything. I'm thinking this is a TV show. No, it's not, okay? Real life is just like it, only more. I mean, I go to Mercy, okay, at 270 in Ladue, that big hospital there. You know what I mean? It's a big building. It's not a drive-through. It's like a big building hospital.
Yeah, it's the one across the street from that other hospital. Yeah, I know it.
It's right next to the hospital that it's next door to.
Yeah, the MOBAP is next to the Mercy. Yeah, okay.
Right. So I am there. No, this place was a nut job place. I mean, people are screaming. I'm in a bed it's separated by a curtain. I think this guy next to me was coming off heroin or something. He's like tied down, screaming, "Let me out of here!" And I'm thinking they are going to let him out of here, and then he's going to hurt my other eye. So now my blood pressure is even higher.
And then George Clooney walks out, and he's like, "Remember me from ER? Will you buy some Casamigos?" And I say, "Buddy, I don't drink alcohol."
No, I don't drink. That's the other thing too. I'm a healthy guy. I run. I watch my diet, not just watch it. I mean, the diet that I eat is relatively healthy. And then I have these ailments. So, that's another thing, my friend. The picture of health, okay? Looking at you as a picture of health, you may just be rot. You could be a walking dead man. You may not know it because you look fine. Okay?
Rotten on the inside.
You do. You look great. You look fine. Yeah. Whatever you did to the hair with the product today, it looks beautiful. I really like it. But you look like you're in shape and stuff. And I'm going to let go of all the compliments now because inside you could just be a corpse. I mean, you could be just dying.
Well, it's almost Halloween time, so why not get that feeling of spooky season coming out of you and into the toilet, and
I guess
get a Band-Aid to patch it up.
Halloween, I guess. So. It's already October, and we're not going to talk about the weather because that dates you. But my gosh, it sure is a hot October, isn't it?
Oh, you said your wife was in heat currently.
She isn't, and that's the thing. It's weird because I shouldn't say this because But when we were walking in the building earlier, I mentioned this to you. It's strange because when you're women younger, when they go in heat, that means they're young and they're ready to have children, so they're in heat. But then when you're older, at the end of the road here, not that she's at the end of the road, she'll hurt my other eye if she hears this, but when you're at the other spectrum, rather, then you're in heat again, but it's more of like, I'm hot all the time. So isn't it weird that women go from being heat on one side to heat the other?
It's very interesting.
I don't know if that's interesting or
not. It
not.
makes me think of that old saying that the frog doesn't know it's being boiled because it's in the pot as it's slowly being turned up. And that reminds me of when you're in a long-term relationship with a hot person who's gradually getting uglier. If you don't put up pictures on the wall of what you used to look like, you just get used to the way they look and you never think, oh, man, she's really lost it.
We don't even do that. What we do when everybody starts to get ugly in our family, the pictures that the frames, they already have pictures in them. Mm-hmm. We just use those because those people all look happy and beautiful. So like when Grandma started to get a little weird and like her teeth were falling out and stuff like that, they had a frame of like an old lady with some grandchildren that weren't hers, and she's smiling. She had good dentures in. And we just put that up, and everybody thought your grandma looks beautiful. She looks so young and vibrant. And I said, she's been dead for 5 years. But I mean, do you do that? I mean, do you use the pictures that are already in the frames because they're already so dang happy? Why put up your own?
I actually have a beef going on with my girlfriend's sister. Oh. Now, she has a new house because she moved here from Wisconsin down to St. Louis.
Right, Milwaukee.
And so I helped her move into her house. And when I was helping her move, I brought some extra photos of me and my lovely lady.
Oh, yeah.
And I hid them around the house.
Did you?
And then when I went back to her house, the pictures were gone. Oh. She had totally found them and then thought, oh, what is this garbage? And she threw them away. It hurt my heart. But what hurts even more is that she hung up a brand new picture frame that's got 12 slots for pictures.
12 slots. Oh, yeah, like a collage.
And she put in pictures of her own family, not our picture that she threw away. But in the middle still of this 12-picture frame collage.
Oh, don't say it.
Is the generic picture of nothing.
Oh, well, that just shows you. I think that's kind
of
symbolic.
Fake family that they a fake family she didn't even remove from the collage.
Right.
She just left them up to taunt me
It's horrible.
It hurts when they don't put up pictures of you. Why do I go to your house if I can't see how much I'm loved?
Well, she sounds like an evil person. Now, is this the same sister-in-law that's doing she's doing like the three-way with an NSYNC guy with your lovely Erica? Is that the same way? Because you were telling me
different sister, but same concept.
So there's a different sister than your lovely Erica is having a threesome with the guy from NSYNC, and you have to go watch this. I mean, and again, I'm coming off this blood pressure stuff, and I feel great and ready to go. I got my coffee, but then you start hitting me with these random wild stories about the lovely Erica in a three-way with your sister or something like that with the NSYNC guy, and you had to sit there and watch. And I'm thinking, is this a bad dream? Am I still at the emergency room on some kind of weird drug? What is this all about?
Well, speaking of Halloween and dressing up, there's a big Comic-Con happening right now in St. Louis. Downtown is GalaxyCon, and they're bringing in all the celebrities. And what you can do is you can pay $80 to get cucked by anyone you want.
Cucked?
Yeah, so if you pay $80, you can have Joey Fatone from NSYNC take a picture with your girlfriend, and you can sit in the corner, and they'll put that all in a beautiful frame and print it off for you, give her the digital version.
Yeah.
And she can share that on social media, and you can be over there in the corner with your back to the wall.
So you're going to be in the corner watching your lovely Erica with Joey Fatone?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and you're going to watch this. What are they doing, actually?
They're going to be hugging. She's going to be complimenting his cologne.
Yeah.
You can tell in the picture
Sure.
that he has good cologne.
Yeah.
He's got like a fluffer that helps him with that.
That's right. Okay. And so
his hand will be slightly on her crack, but you can't exactly tell from the picture, but you can tell by her smile.
Okay, that's why she's smiling. Well, this is a horrible story, and it couldn't get any worse, but it does, because then you're saying that this twosome is being joined by who now? Your sister?
Yeah, her sister's going to come in because they enjoyed NSYNC together as kids.
Okay.
So I'm going to pay the $80 for the cuck session, and any other family members that want to be in it to point at me and smell Joey Fatone.
There's Joey.
They can be in
the
it
corner.
too.
So you're going to be over in the corner while Joey's with Erica and her sister, and you've got to sit there and watch all this thing. And you paid $80 to actually do this. You're the one that paid it, right?
Well, you could pay $300 to be with the cast of Terrifier. That's a horror film that's disgusting.
Well, that's like a gang type thing. That's horrible.
It's like $150 to be with William Shatner for him to go places where no one has gone before.
I don't think anybody's been into a cuck situation with William Shatner.
A 95-year-old man.
That's terrible.
That's an incredible Or Weird Al. You could pay a couple hundred to be cucked by Weird Al.
This sounds a lot like the Hallmark Channel, if you ask me.
One of them's a prince. One of them is a Christmas North Pole.
Hey, I'm Todd Showalter with my bestest buddy, Joey V. This is The Right Mind Show. We'll be right back.
Coming up next on The Right Mind Show with Todd Showalter, we fight DEI with Blaine Little. Welcome back to The Right Mind Show with Todd Showalter on News Talk STL. And now a man who doesn't like casinos, but he does take an ACE inhibitor for his blood pressure. Todd Showalter.
And we're back. I'm Todd Showalter along with my bestest buddy, Joey V. And on the line now is Mr. DEI himself, Blaine Little. Blaine, how have you been, my friend?
God, I'm doing great, man. I'm much better now that I'm with you.
Well, I wish more people would say that. I know a lot of people that say the exact opposite, as a matter of fact. Well, we have you on a lot. We talk about DEI and how it's a lot of it's very silly, and you talk about your alternatives for it and whatnot. But you also you mentioned to me the other day, you said, "Hey Todd, what's the deal with all these crazy mayors in these cities that are falling apart?" So I said, "Well, I don't know, Blaine. Why don't you come on and tell me what you think about it, and we'll talk. What's your issue with this?"
Well, I mean, you look at what a leader is supposed to be. They're supposed to communicate well. They're supposed to plan. And that's one of the things that I talk about. The difference between leadership and management is leadership comes up with where we want to go.
Right.
The plan. And management is how to get there.
Okay.
But you have a lot of people who are just career politicians, like the guy, Mamdani, who's running in New York right now.
Right.
And it's just campaign promise after campaign promise. But there's no plan involved. And people will ask, how are we going to do that?
Right.
And it just doesn't there's nothing there.
But you're exactly right. And here's the thing. I mean, I don't really blame the messenger, so to speak, because if you have people that are so just, just dense that are going to listen and just go along with whatever somebody says, you and I could, run on some ticket and say, hey, we're going to eliminate the income tax. Everybody's going to live for free. You're all going to have all the money that you need, everything, free, whatever. And if you have people silly enough to believe that, even though there's no way that we can do it, I mean, how can that be, how can that be the messenger's fault? I blame the actual voters and the people listening to it.
Well, you're onto something there. And that's why, why does Californians keep putting Gavin Newsom in?
Right.
I mean, it makes no sense to me. He won 2 terms and he's gone up against 2 recalls as well.
Right.
So 4 times effectively, the people of California, even though, he could have put into place some program to prevent the wildfire from being as terrible as it was.
Right.
Corporations are leaving in droves, and yet he's thinking about the small things.
Sure.
The things that are political, but don't necessarily give anybody comfort.
No, it doesn't. And on a bigger note, a bigger scale, I should say, from what I understand, he's going to be their front runner for president in the next election when we look at 28. I mean, so you've got a guy that's totally destroyed one of the biggest states in the nation. He's a total loser. He can't, everything he's done has fallen apart. It's been a total disaster. So what do? You say, hey, why don't you become president of the whole country at this point? And again, it goes back to, to the people. It goes back to the voters. I mean, I don't see how anybody can, because if I'm Gavin Newsom or if I'm, the socialist communist in New York and people are just going to go along with all the lies I'm telling them, why am I going to stop? Why? I mean, if people are that dense, I mean, what motivation do I have to even come clean?
You're exactly right. And he's just kind of encouraged, these bad leaders are just encouraged to keep doing exactly what they're doing, and they're digging their states or the municipalities into a hole, and they don't stop. Every time I think of Gavin Newsom, I think of kind of the model snapshot of when he had the jacket over his shoulder coming out of the White House, while Biden was out of the country.
Yeah.
And, he's just kind of posing for the cameras and everything, just trying it out, see how it fits.
Right.
And this is what he is, but he has no issues. In fact, a lot of the issues that a lot of these quote unquote progressive politicians will run on is contrary to what needs to happen.
Sure.
So again, Mamdani, he's talking about, we're going to lower rent and all those wonderful things, all these giveaways, but there is a real maintenance problem with buildings in New York City. And I think it was the Bronx that last week, there was a building that just collapsed, fell apart. And yet he's talking about lowering rent.
A lot of the problems that we've talked about the mayors and, governors and things like that have been somehow or another have been put in office through some corrupt way or another. But as a result of that, they appoint people that really aren't qualified based on DEI. And I think that's a trickle-down effect to why our cities are crumbling the way that they are. I mean, they'll appoint whether they're police commissioners, whether they appoint certain people to run the actual city that are totally worthless, but they have the right, gender and skin or, makeup. Explain that. Do you think that do you think that we're coming out of that, I guess is my question? Because I see certain hints that we are, and then I see certain things that says, I don't think we're out of the woods on this thing yet.
Yeah, I think we are, but it's going to be slow. It's going to be slow, Todd. It's not going to be anything that's overnight. So again, it goes to optics. In terms of, if you walk into a room and the employees of one organization is there, they want to be able to scan across the room and sort of tick little check marks along the way.
Right.
We have a white person, a black person, Asian, and this, and all the sexual orientations, all that. We have to have a mixture when what you really need to do is just not be concerned about that stuff,
right,
and pick the very best, and the cream of the crop will rise. And I'm convinced that once you get to the very top, you're going to see a very diverse group of people. But that's where you start with is merit.
Right, and it makes no sense whatsoever. I mean, it really doesn't. I mean, you listen to it, and whoever came up with this whole equality as far as based on outside types of things, I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, what if we had like a football, or let's just say a basketball team, whatever, and okay, we're going to have the same amount as whites as we're going to have blacks, and we're going to have women now, we're going to have with the guys, and so this is a pro team, and then somebody brings up, hey, you know what? I don't think we have enough paraplegic people that can't walk on the basketball team. Well, you're right. So you're bringing them in. Next thing you know, you don't have a talented basketball team. You have like this mismatch of different people, but it's not going to be the best team. Why can't we not just take a blind look at everything, put all the information, in this day and age especially, say, look, you've got the qualifications for this. We're not going to look at what color you are. We're not going to look at what your gender is. We're not going to look at, whether or not you sleep with animals or don't or whatever. If you are right for this job and you're going to be the best one for it and are qualified, you get the job. Why, from a common sense, logical standpoint, can we not do that?
Well, yeah, and you and I have talked about this before. The concept of diversity is wonderful. The concept of inclusion is great, and nobody can explain what the hell equity is. But those terms have really been co-opted.
Right.
So they've taken something that sounds wonderful and really just kind of perverted it into something else.
Right.
It goes back to when we were in COVID, Todd. Mm-hmm. Parents started to see what was happening, what their grade schoolers were being taught in the public school.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah.
And a lot of it was just indoctrination. It was progressivism, quote unquote. It was just political correctness. And so finally, a lot of parents put their foot down and said, enough of this.
Right.
That's what's happening now.
In the workplace.
In business with the whole concept of DEI. If you have a practice that's not very good for you, I don't know, you're taking a pencil and you're stabbing it into your ear.
Right.
And you call that act a cupcake.
Right.
Now, we're going to have you stop doing that because that's not really good. That doesn't move things forward. Well, I just took away everyone's cupcakes.
Right.
How terrible am I?
Yeah, right.
So this is what I mean by they've just co-opted terms, and they don't mean anything anymore, unfortunately.
What you do, your specialty is you actually go into corporations and places, and I don't know if you want to call it deprogramming, but you kind of go in and help clean up the mess and help them implement systems and programs that are inclusive. They're inclusive. Last things, and don't get me wrong, I am all for inclusive. Everybody, being inclusive and equity and all that. Right. I believe in that wholeheartedly. However, I do not believe that you should be in certain positions just based on your outward look or color or belief or something like that. I believe, we should have an equity, an all-inclusive environment, but at the same time, you got to be qualified for the damn job, okay? And so what you do, and correct me if I'm wrong, you help go into these companies and help them kind of reprogram, don't you?
Well, I have an alternate model, if you will.
Right.
And I train with leadership, team building, better communication skills. My model is called the IDEA model, IDEA. There's two dynamics for the group, and there's two dynamics for individuals. So, yes, inclusion, invite everybody to participate if that's truly why it is, not just a tick mark on a checkbox.
Right.
That's great. Diversity, that's great.
Right.
Again, invite people in. But in terms of the individual, what you need to seek from them is their excellence, just them doing the best that they can.
Right.
And you also want to include the A stands for autonomy. And I don't mean someone just going hog wild doing whatever they want, but don't micromanage them. Allow them to seek that excellence, allow them to make their own mistakes, allow them to just kind of come into their own, And they're going to be better individuals for that. They're going to be better employees for that. And so that's kind of something that I teach that's really, it gets back to what the original intent of diversity was.
Sure. And but the thing is, that's logical, okay? I mean, that makes sense. I mean, so my question again, without just stretching it out too far, is again, so you go into a company and you implement this, and it makes sense, and people are getting productive, and all of a sudden you have somebody walk in, some virtue signaling, Karen, that says, "I don't think you have enough Eskimos working here," and she causes a big stink. Now, I mean, you may be in South Beach, Miami, whatever. You don't have enough Eskimos working here. And all of a sudden, we have to have Eskimos here. What do you do? I mean, do you just say, hey, this doesn't work with my idea model? Or, I mean, how? Because you're going to have those people, Blaine. I mean, those people aren't going to go away anytime soon. How do you deal with these nutcakes that, will not take a logical model and put it into place?
Well, fortunately, my IDEA model is superior.
Right. Okay.
So it's going to be hard for them to do that. You have a lot of brainwashed people. Fortunately, there are leaders who are starting to step up and say, you know what, this path is not healthy. It's not healthy for the individual. It's not healthy for the employers nor the organization. We're going to move a different way.
Right.
And so when you do that, as kind of part of change is you really need to have something to replace a lot of those old ideas.
Right.
And that's kind of what I do.
Well, my friend, you solve a lot of problems with corporations and companies around the country. Why don't you give me a shout out how people can get in touch with you to add some sanity to their workplace?
Well, all my contact information is on my website.
Okay.
MomentumSeminars.com. MomentumSeminars.com. And actually, Todd, if you click on my latest blog post, it's about this very issue that I posted on there. Not everything that I do is about diversity, but it just so happens, that's my latest blog post and how it's really hurting leadership's ability to lead, and it's hurting organizations. Yeah,
it's common sense. It's logical, and that's why I'm talking to you instead of Joey over here who's trying out for the WNBA Women's Basketball League because they don't have enough white males. You can't play on the women's basketball team, Joey. I'm sorry.
I can get catty.
Yeah, okay, fine, but we're not going to talk about this anymore. We got Blaine on the phone. Okay, all right, Blaine. I've got him settled down a little bit. Hey, good. You're always a joy to have on. You get me going with my random thoughts, as you know, and you have a great, you got a great model for your business, and anything we can do to help you spread the word and get in touch with more companies, we're happy to do it.
That's right. Just go to my website, MomentumSeminars.com. All the information is there. Thank you, Todd.
You bet. MomentumSeminars.com. Okay. All right, my friend. Until next time, thanks for joining us, okay?
Thank you, sir.
All right. Bye-bye. We got Pete Turner coming on next. He's the Army spy. I mean, here's the thing. I don't understand. How many spies do you know that come on a radio station? Aren't you supposed to be secretive? He's not really a spy anymore, though, is he?
He's probably got some sort of voice changer device that he uses.
Or,
like Batman, when he would talk to the villains, he would go, "I'm Batman." Yeah. And then no one knew it was him.
You ever notice that they do like the dark silhouette, like when they're talking to someone, and you can't really, they all have that weird muffled voice. Well, we'll think about it, and we'll think about that and more when we come back. In the meantime, I'm Todd Showalter, along with my bestest buddy in the whole world, Joey V. I've not mentioned Mitch once during the show, nor will I. This is The Right Mind Show. We'll be right back.
Coming up next on The Right Mind Show with Todd Showalter, Army spy Pete Turner on the new rules for the military. Welcome back to The Right Mind Show with Todd Showalter on News Talk STL. And now a man who's thinking of starting another branch of the armed forces that lets you keep your cool haircut, called the Mulletary. Todd Showalter.
And we're back. I'm Todd Showalter, along with my bestest buddy, Joey V. And on the line now, don't tell anybody, Joey, but it's a Army spy. He's a spy. You're looking around. Pete, how you doing? We got some stuff to talk about. I have a beef with our military. I did, but now they're going to do some things differently, and I'm pretty happy about it. I'm talking about fitness and just becoming regular military people again. What do you think of all this, my friend, and how are you?
Hey, I'm great. Thanks for having me on. I always appreciate you. Yeah, I mean, the military, kind of ebbs and flows with its demands on the people who serve in it. It's pretty normal now that we've had a little less combat. It's like now it's time to get back into shape because, before you're recovering from things all the time, you've got injuries, and probably got a little fat. And what the boss gets to do, the boss gets to say, get to doing PT. Very normal, I think, to tighten up the force when there's a little less external demand on it.
Absolutely. And of course, you've got people that are all bent out of shape about it. Not that I watch or follow any of the View people, but that goofball, Sunny, I'm not so sunny in the head, woman was saying, I can't believe, why would there be a physical fitness test or something ridiculous to that extent? I may have the actual verbiage wrong. But do people understand that, I mean, these are like soldiers. You're a soldier. I mean, so soldiers. I mean, don't you want your A team to be in good shape? Why is there any even question about this?
Yeah, I don't understand that. I mean, look, I can understand the argument of saying, hey, what should the standard be? And looking at that, I mean, I was like to joke, Todd, I'll say, ask me how many push-ups I did in combat, and that number is going to be zero.
Right.
You know, so when you get shot at, you need some level of physicality to get out there. But I've seen women in firefights. I've seen them perform fantastically. So do they need to have the male standard? I don't know that that's true. Also not my job.
Yeah.
So what I would say is, of course, you have to be able to haul yourself up into the back of a 5-ton truck. You got to be able to get yourself out of the back of the 5-ton truck. You got to be able to haul 100 pounds of gear around. All of that takes a physical level that you have to maintain. And when you're young, you shouldn't be, morbidly obese in like 99% of the occasions. You should be able to make the height and weight standards.
Right.
That's what soldiers do. And we're talking Army specifically, but same thing with Marines, same thing with Navy, and maybe the different services have different demands because of the nature of their work. But having a physical fitness standard, it's like you would say the same thing for any kind of athletic team. Like you have to be in shape, and if you play basketball, you better be in better shape in your competition. Otherwise, they're going to wear you out, and you're going to lose.
Yeah, absolutely. It just seems kind of logical to me. I mean, that you want people that, can get out of a chair without collapsing. I don't know. That's just me, though. One thing I was thinking about, and maybe they do have it. I was actually talking with my wife about this the other day. You've got these people that argue and say, well, now today's military is all based on video games and just people doing joysticks, and that's how we're going to, fight our next fights and stuff, which may be true to an extent. Why? I mean, are there different divisions? I mean, you obviously have your infantry that's in their fighting and doing what they need to do. And then you have your behind the scenes guys like supply and logistics and things like that. Is there actually a faction of the military that are just kind of like these Game Boy people? They're actually doing their combat video stuff. Is that actually a division of the military?
I mean, I don't recognize that to be the case. There are people that definitely work on computers quite a lot across all of the services and across all the subdisciplines. So you can definitely spend a lot of time, look, we always know about this, riding a desk. There's people that ride a desk.
Right.
And there's dudes like me who go off to camp. Just because you ride a desk doesn't mean you don't have a physically demanding job. You've got to sit there. You've got to occupy your mind. You can't get sleepy. You've got a lot of things to do. And so everybody I know who works that kind of job will take a break midday or start their day off with a rigorous PT session because they don't want to be out of shape. And all the way, by the way, at any time, you might be called into action. You might get rotated into a team that's going out every day. You don't know, so you have to be ready for anything. Yeah,
because it's the military again. I mean, this is not you're not a secretary for like in an insurance office. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but this is right. What you're doing. Yeah, I mean, you think because you were in your day. I mean, when you were doing your military, your Army spy stuff, you had your certain atmosphere, your camaraderie things, and then we had some certain things with the military that you heard about. We got a guy, Admiral Andy, that comes on the show occasionally, and he was talking how things were getting so demoralizing because they were like doing all this trans stuff and DEI and all this stuff that had nothing to do with the military. Now it seems that we're trying to push our way out of that. Just from your take, your opinion, do you think that we're on the way? Because everybody says, United States, strongest military in the world. Do you think that we're in as good a shape now as we are? Do you think we could be better than we are right now?
Oh, I think there's definitely room for improvement there. Pre-deployment training, you do a lot of things that you have to do. Do you have a will? What is your action plan if something happens and you have a kid? All these things that have to be sorted out before you can go. Have you seen the chaplain? Have you had your shots? All this stuff. And among that are like ridiculous trainings that we all disregard. And it's so ridiculous that like you click through a bunch of PowerPoint slides on whatever it's going to be, harassment, and it's really just a check the block.
Right.
We call it check the block training. Have you been trained on whatever it is, Geneva Convention? Well, you're not going to sit in a classroom for an hour. You would never deploy with all of these things you have to cover. So for sure, for a long time, we've had too much of that training that was performative rather than informative, and that also, like, somebody at some point says, that's enough of that. Get rid of all that stuff. Let's get warfighters doing warfighter things. And, it's just back to fundamentals, back to the basics. Get in the field, grab a shovel, dig a hole, lay in it. Like that's what infantry dudes do. That's what engineers do. People who don't do those things, get into the field, pitch a tent, get behind your desk, and run the Army doing what you do, whether you're getting people paid, establishing communications, or in my case, going into town and talking to the mayor of the town.
Right.
Everybody's got to go practice their craft in a tactical sense. Everybody does.
I mean, have you gotten any feedback as far as people in the service right now? I mean, as far as our commander-in-chief now, Donald Trump, are people from your circle that you know of, are people in the military, are they happier to have Donald Trump as president than Joe?
I have heard primarily positive things in that sense. We all have complaints, but again, your job mostly is to shut up and do your job. Mm-hmm. Worrying about the president isn't our job. A lot of military members, especially officers, don't even vote because they don't want to have a conflict of interest. And so they don't. I didn't vote in my elections when I was gone. I live in California because I don't live there right now. I'm somewhere else. And so I'm not going to cast a ballot for something that I have no idea anything about. Mm-hmm. And so for years, I didn't vote. It wasn't that I didn't want to, but it was, for me, inappropriate to pick my boss or to pick someone, have that person not be my boss, and that's sort of how we approach all of that political stuff, I would say in general. So if it's President Trump, then it's President Trump. And if it's President next, then it's President next. And we will still treat that person like they're the commander-in-chief, whatever direction they want to go. Obviously, it has to be leader. Then we go in that direction.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, I don't know. You got a lot of stuff going on, and of course, you got the media that jumps on board and says a bunch of negative things about how we're screwing everything up. But I like to think that we're in pretty good shape right now, and the world is safer. At least I like to think so. So, yeah, I mean, moving ahead now, let's get to the Break It Down show. How are things going? Again, for those that don't, who haven't heard you on my show before, along with being an Army spy, former Army spy, you have probably one of the hottest shows on the internet, the Break It Down show. You interview all kinds of famous people, celebrities. I mean, your Rolodex just must be gold. How's your show going, and who do you got coming on soon?
Man, it is awesome, and you're right. You've been on my show. That's
I'm like, why are you having me on? You have all these big people on. It's a slow news day, Todd. No, I'm kidding.
Well, I know you'll appreciate these names, and maybe some folks won't appreciate them, but these are legends. So we recently just did a series of shows with a bunch of older women. One of them was Stephanie Powers, and one of them was Morgan Fairchild.
Wow.
And these are just, yeah, exactly. Wow, these are world-class ladies who've done everything. They're so insightful.
Yeah.
I mean, you may not know who Stephanie Powers is anymore. But
sure. Heart to heart.
Oh, yeah. No, she's awesome. And she's still, like, even though she's, way older now, she is still energetic. You can barely book her. She's so busy. Yeah. And she works, with the William Holden Wildlife Foundation. And, oh, my God, that's what she does. She's always in Africa, always doing things on the go. And so stuff like that, man, all the time I get to go live this life where I get to talk to all these amazing people. Thanks for mentioning it. I appreciate it.
Oh, yeah. No, you have an amazing show. And I don't know, we may have talked about this before, but I don't know, I bring it up often. So, I'm sorry if I'm bringing it up redundantly here, but I've noticed from my background that the bigger the stars are, the nicer they are. It seems that when you get to these mid-level people that, are either trying to still come up or they're coming down, they're usually the ones that are kind of the a-holes, But the bigger the star, every major person that I've ever had the privilege of meeting has just been cordial and super nice and welcoming. I mean, do you find that?
Yeah, no, I mean, I've had occasion to meet a number of billionaires, and some of them have even become my friends, and they're all wonderful people. I'm always told how terrible they are, and I'm like, these aren't terrible people.
Yeah.
They make hard decisions. Just like these older ladies, they have a certain way they want to be lit. They know cameras. They understand what they do to them. And so they are very specific, and they direct me. And you know what I say? I say, yes, ma'am.
Sure.
And I set up the cameras how they want, and then we go from there and we find out what works, because they have earned that. They know what they're doing. And so, of course, I'm going to listen to them.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, how many times has Morgan Fairchild been on camera?
Morgan Fairchild. Wow, what a name. Well, and she was, for those who don't know, a major, major star in the 80s. Remember the John Lovitz thing?
Yeah.
Morgan Fairchild. I mean, everybody was like, oh, she was like the bombshell. So what a thrill that must be. Wow. So how can people check out your show?
Let's go to YouTube and type in Pete A. Turner or Break It Down Show. It should come right up.
Break It Down Show. Break It Down Show. Yeah, people ought to check it out. Subscribe to it. It's a great, great show, and it's always exciting. And I don't know how you do it, my friend, but I guess it's that spy stuff that you got going on. You really can get some major guests on your show, and you always promise to tell me the secrets, but then you say maybe on February 29th, and there is no February 20th. Well, hey, buddy, I appreciate you coming on and talking with me about the military and your show and all that. And I don't know, I wish you all the best of luck, and I can't wait until the next time you join me again, okay?
I'm going to have you on before you have me on. I'm going to beat you to it, and thank you very much.
Okay, my friend. Well, I'll be happy to. I tell you what, if you have me on the show, I will say nothing about my lighting, and I'll just say I'm actually Morgan Fairchild. How's that sound?
I love it. Let's do it.
You got it, buddy. Take care now. Bye-bye. He's a great guy, Joey. He's a really, really great guy. I mean, and I tell you what, it's true. I mean, I guess it is the spy thing, because he knows how to get to these people, like major, like legends, like whether they're in rock bands and things, or politicians, or as he mentioned, billionaires. And, he gets all these people on their show. I think he's trying to be more like us.
Morgan Fairchild's real government name, Patsy Ann McClinney. Makes me think she's trying to be undercover also.
Why didn't you just jump in and say that?
She's going on a spy show under her fake name.
Patsy? Where do you get Morgan from Patsy?
75 years old and kicking.
Kicking at 70. Well, 75 is not old anymore. What do you think old is now? That's the thing. Because now, I mean, it's so funny when you watch some of these shows, like they were saying, like All in the Family, or the Golden Girls, which I don't watch because that falls into the Hallmark genre. But those people on the show were like in their 40s and 50s at the time when they're playing those parts. Now, 40s and 50s, it's like you're 40 and you're a young buck. I mean, so what is old now? I have no idea. Everything's changed.
I feel young, and of course, going to this Comic-Con is going to make me feel even younger.
I bet it is. Now, are you going to dress up? I can't remember if you said so or not, because I'm on all kinds of medication. No, I'm not. I'm kidding.
I have a beautiful Hawaiian shirt that would make a perfect costume for
me.
Tom Selleck.
Oh, but I used to wear Hawaiian shirts. I just can't find them anymore. Tom Selleck would be good. Are you going to do the mustache?
I was going to look for a Detroit Tigers hat somewhere.
Okay.
But no one is a fan of that team around here. I don't have anyone to borrow it.
Well, one of the things
I want to be Magnum.
Magnum used to wear these shorts, that went up to his crotch, okay? Mm-hmm. I mean, that used to be the thing. He'd wear the Hawaiian shirt, the Detroit Tiger ball cap, and these shorts that nowadays would be considered a Speedo, but they were just actually shorts. Now, are you going to do that? Because if you're doing that, I may just come to take pictures.
If I can't find a Detroit Tigers hat,
right,
I'm going to switch to Scarface. They wore the identical Hawaiian shirt, and if I can borrow one of your chainsaws, I think that would really tie the costume together.
And put a bunch of powdered sugar all over your face and pretend like it's cocaine and do something like that.
Todd, get the yayo. I call it yayo.
Yayo, is that what it's called?
And cocaine,
I got an idea. my friend. I know you're a little, all upset that, your lovely Eric and her sister are going to be having a fun time with, what's this guy, Joey
Fatone. They're going to have a cuck sesh.
A cuck sesh with Joey Fatone, and you're going to sit and watch it. So I think what you ought to do, I think you ought to show up as to this little whatever you want to call it, this horrible debauchery, as Tom Selleck in your Hawaiian shirt, the Detroit hat, your mustache, and your tiny crotch shorts. And I bet you as soon as they see you, they'll tell Joey to take a hike and you'll jump on the real Joey, which is you, my friend.
That's what makes it so confusing when she says my name in the throes of passion. I always wonder in the back of my mind, who's she talking about for real?
Yeah, it's like my wife too. In the throes of passion, she'll say, "Oh, Bob." I'll say, "Bob, who?" Anyway, I don't know. It's been a wacky week, my friend.
Got to go pick up the Magnum Ferrari.
Yeah, that's right. You got to do that. I mean, we could paint Ethan's red. Wouldn't that make it fun?
That'll work.
Yeah, that'll work. Would you have a fun time today, my friend?
I had a great time.
I did too, and I really enjoyed our photo op standing over highways and McDonald's drive-thrus. Because the thing I love about you, buddy, is every time we do a photo op, it can't just be, let's just do a selfie. It's like, no, let's go stand over a major highway. You don't get that in most businesses, do you?
I had my selfie stick extended exploded so far that actually one of the cars in the passing lane was about to knock my phone onto the highway below us.
And I'm saying the whole time, I've just recovered from surgery. I was in the emergency room, and I'm terrified of heights. And you're like, oh, good, let's go stand over 270. But I love you, man. I'll do anything anything for the show.
Love you, too.
Yeah, all right. Well, I've had a good time, too. You know what I always say, don't you?
Don't sneak up on me on the right side. I'm blind over there.
Well, yeah, or the left. Hey, if you don't have a right mind, you don't have a mind at all. Until next time, I'm Todd Showalter, along with my bestest buddy in the whole world, Joey V. And this is The Right Mind Show. Bye-bye.
Thanks for tuning in to The Right Mind Show with Todd Showalter. To find out about all things Todd, go to toddsprod.com. We will see you next Saturday night at 5 p.m. right here on 101.9, 94.1, News Talk STL, and always streaming online at newstalkstl.com.